The third weekend for Thor Love and Thunder is going to be really interesting. Unlike the last couple of Marvel films, it doesn't look like that this film is going to sustain the long legs that those films did. And ultimately, it looks like this weekend it could end up in third place. This weekend is pretty big for nerds because, let's be real, there's San Diego Comic-Con. There's also the ability to go watch Thor if you haven't seen it already. And on top of this, Jordan Peele's latest hit, Nope. Now, I would say something about the film, but I literally don't know anything about it. I saw Jordan Peele's name attached to it, and I said, I'm going to ignore everything up until I see it. So I'm going into this blind. I literally have no idea what the film is about. All I know is that there's a lot of social media hype and that there's a lot of hype going into this weekend. So it's no surprise that we're seeing box office predictions that are looking pretty bad for Thor. But there's one interesting thing here that I want to talk about. So first and foremost, Nope is expected to take first place with anywhere between 50 to 60 million. Thor Love and Thunder is being expected to take anywhere between 19 and 22 million. And Minions Rise of Gru is expected to take 19 to 20. Now, the interesting thing here is that people are looking at some of these numbers going, there is a very real chance where Minions might actually be able to make slightly more like it has weekend over weekend, even if it's 1 to 2 million, place it at a 20 to 21, and Thor, if it underperforms, which the first and second weekend technically did, second weekend really did, it might actually fall under Minions to, well, be third. And this honestly, I think, could be a little problematic for Thor, but the film has already, I think, made most of what it was going to with the first two front-loaded weekends. And really, if you consider it, I think the first weekend is really the biggest one because the second weekend drop-off was, well, pretty terrible. I mean, the worst in the Thor franchise. So I think there's something to be said here in regards to how Disney's going to kind of approach the marketing for films, as I talked about before, and also people now knowing that Disney Plus is a viable option. And if you go look at some of these, reports and go look at some of the comments and things people are saying, people literally just saying, what's the point of seeing it? I could just wait 40 days, 45 days, 50 days or whatever and watch it on Disney Plus. And I do think there is something to that offsets the cost. But again, it makes the theatrical side of it look not as good. And that could be problematic, but it all depends on how Disney's going to look at it. I will say the budget of this film still being in the top 5 most expensive MCU films, costing more than films that featured all the Avengers in it, it's probably not a good sign that this film is just barely over 500 million going into its third weekend. I mean, a lot of people are saying it won't even live up to Ragnarok's numbers, which that's a sign of diminishing return and loss of interest. And I think that could be a factor here. But again, we'll talk about that when we get to that.